Hi there, welcome to the halftime huddle. A little bit later today, and it's just me. So, if you're watching this or you're coming to this on the replay, because I don't think there's anyone on live because it's only just come on, then do please say hi. Drop me a note. If you're new to this, then say new. I'd love to say hi to you. If you're on the replay, hashtag replay will be brilliant. If you're watching this, going to be watching this live later, or if you're coming to me live, and we'll talk to you when you're coming to me live, then it'd be lovely to interact with you. This is the halftime huddle. As I said, a little bit later than normal. It normally comes midweek, halfway through the week. It's hump day. It's the opportunity to spend a little bit of a time to refocus after the beginning of the week. We spend often we start the week with great intentions, and life takes over, and halfway through the week we need a little bit of refocus, and this is what here's for. I've been introduced last couple of weeks. We've been having a lovely conversation with some great small business owners, and that will continue in the new year. But for the next 2 weeks, it's just going to be me. And then we're going to have a little bit of a 1 week's break for Christmas because I've got all the kids coming home, which will be great. I hope you're enjoying Christmas. Hope Christmas goes well for everyone, and we had the opportunity to spend some quality time with our friends and family and loved ones. Given the current situation we're all still in at the moment, with that lovely C word and the lovely O word now, hopefully we will be able to spend some quality time with people we enjoy and we love to spend time with. So I wish you well for your Christmas, and like I said, I'm here for the next 2 weeks. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might do a little bit of a quiz. We'll see what happens. It'll probably go middle week, and we'll see if we can do something a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun, a little bit light, because it's Christmas, more or less. But today, this week is my, as you may have seen in my posts in Facebook and other places, that this week is my planning week. It's the end of autumn. I run in seasons. I use the astronomical astronomical way of measuring the year. So go from solstices to equinoxes for the seasons. So the winter solstice is next week, so the beginning of winter officially astronomically starts next week. So I'm doing a little bit of a pre-plan, see how autumn went, and then plan for winter and 2022. And I thought I'd share with you the tools that I've been using over the last couple of years that I've developed over time, doing through some of the things I used to do in corporate and other kinds of bits and bobs. I like a mnemonic and an acronym, so I've got a couple of acronyms to share with you that hopefully you can use for your planning. Whether you've already planned, then I'd love to hear some of your plans. If you haven't planned yet or are in your process of planning, or you leave your plan at the beginning of January, there's no right or wrong way to plan, as long as you do some. Then I'd love to hear how you plan, when you plan on planning, and if you've got any special intentions for 2022. But I thought I'd just to give you a little bit of a process that I use myself. I'm going to try a little bit of tools as well. Hopefully you'll be able to follow along, and it'll be something that you will find useful and maybe use yourself. So the first tool I use is basically a simple sort of top-down type planning, from larger planning, vision type planning, through down to more strategic and tactical planning, which is more down to day-to-day type stuff. So it starts off with the larger planning, and here we go. Let's see if it works out. Fingers crossed, yay! So it's coming. I hope you can see this. I use a mnemonic or a tool called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll go through what these mean. So I start with 5. Here we go. This is where it all works. 5. And that is 5 years. So I spend a bit of time. When I first start this, I spend a bit of time thinking where I want to be in 5 years. If I've been doing this regularly, which I have been, I just revisit what my 5-year plan in. Basically, it's the end of a year for me. It's beginning of winter, so I will revisit how I've gone. And 5 years is now a little bit further forward, and whether the goals I had in the 5-year plan are still useful or still appropriate. So I do a little bit of a longer, wider sort of type visioning, really. 5 years is a long time to really have any a real idea of what's likely to be happening in 5 years' time. So it's just basically a direction of travel, really, intentions and visions. So this is where you may have seen in my posts, I do a vision board of the sort of things I would like to see myself do, where I'd like to see myself in 5 years, and it's just something I can revisit. So first up is 5. So where do you do some kind of long-term visioning, long-term looking at where you would like to be in 5 years? That's that question they often ask you in, when you go for a job interview, is where do you see yourself in 5 years' time and 10 years' time? And it's useful to have a vision to know where you're going for, because as they say in, I can't remember, I think it might be Alice in Wonderland, etc. If you don't know where you're going, everywhere is the right way. Or on the flip side of that, everywhere is the wrong way. So 5 years, I do a little bit of a vision for 5 years, and I think I showed my current vision board that I have in place of mine. It's a backdrop on my computer, so that I'm always reminded of where I'm trying to achieve and what I'm trying to do and what I'd like to see myself in for. The next step is 4, and that's for scribbling. Let's get rid of that because I don't like a mess. Oh, there we go. I don't like a mess. Let's get rid of that. Let's tidy up. 4 seasons. I told you I work in seasons, which are essentially business term, which would be quarters. But I work in seasons because winter is different from spring, is different from summer and autumn. All of them have a different feel to them, a different focus to them. Even you just look at the weather's different in those kind of times, and you feel differently based upon them, and you work differently based upon them. So my winter is planned as a winter rather than a particular quarter. So I'm coming up for winter, so I'm planning on things that I might want to set and prepare, do a little bit of maintenance type thing. Are there things that didn't work over the last year, etc.? Are there things that I need to set in place so that the next 2022 it works smoothly? So that's where I start with my winter planning. So it's 5, 4, and then 3 is 3 months. And this is where I go down into the deeper thing. I talked about 4 seasons. I talked about that's 1 year. So what I want to do in the year is the first step towards the 5-year vision. There is we underestimate what we can get achieved in 5 years and overestimate what we can do in 1 year. Essentially, basically, it's because there's a compounding effect when you do things. It's not a linear step towards the future. It's more of a compounding step. So the thing you do now will make you do something different, etc. And it'll be like some kind of compounding effect, and if you carry on doing it, although to be honest that's ideal, we all know that it's more like that. But basically, the first step is what I classify in my first year. What sort of things? What are the minimum I want to get to? What sort of milestone I want to achieve, and what's the initial step towards my 5-year vision? What intentions I'm setting to make for the next 2022? What's the theme of 2022? What are the things I'm feeling like I want to do? And I'll talk about how I can group these feelings and themes together with another acronym I use. But essentially, we go to the next step is, and as we're talking about here, this is a season. And as I said beforehand, they're all subtly different. So I will be thinking about well, I have been planning winter as a time to get some processes set up, get some things set in place, start thinking about the processes, the procedures, the outsourcing, the people, the sort of things I need to do to set up 2022 for a year of success and thriving. So I will be spending some time thinking about that this season. So, and spring is a different thing. It's a season for for planting seeds, for putting things out there, for starting to make plans to achieve for the year. And summer and autumn are different as well. And we may talk about those as we go along. But essentially, 5-4-3 is 5 years, 4 months, which is essentially 1 year. 4 seasons rather, sorry, which is essentially 1 year. 3 months, which is essentially 1 season. And then we have 2 and 1, 2 weeks, and 1 day. I won't go into too much detail about those because essentially they're based upon how I plan my season. If you notice, a season is about 13 weeks, which equates to 6 fortnights and 1 spare, basically. Plus or minus a day or two. It never works out completely. So essentially there, I break my month down into 6 chunks of fortnights, 6 2-week chunks. And this is where I am at the moment in my planning review and planning for next season. So that's where I am at the moment. I'm in my spare, extra week. So that's sort of where I do some planning now. So, like I said, and I will talk about that because I use a marathon sort of analogy, metaphor, which I will explain some other time. Not today. So this is just basically where I'm at the moment. So where I'm at the moment, I do that every quarter, basically. I revisit my 5-year plan, have a look where I am in terms of my 1-year plan, and then make different plans and different intentions for the season based upon which season it is. Okay, so that's a quickly thing. I hope you hope that is useful to you. If you have any questions, do let them know in the comments. And if you're watching this, say hi. If you're watching the replay, please, I'd love to know what you use for your long to medium term planning. Do you do it regularly? Do you do it just once at the beginning of the year? What part of the time do you do it? All these kind of questions I'm really intrigued in because it's lovely to hear how people do it and how it works with them for them. So that's basically my plan. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's easy to remember. So the next thing I want to talk about is I talked about sort of intentions and visions for the thing. I use a metaphor again, a beacon. Okay, this is essentially that light that you can see in the dark that you can move towards and you direct towards. If you have a beacon in the middle of the night, you can see where it is and you can walk towards that. So that's basically my metaphor again for categorizing sort of intentions that I have for the particular period. So, for instance, if I'm talking about a 5-year, 4-year, 4 seasons, or 3 months, what are the beacons? What are the categories? And I will explain to you what I mean by the beacon. So, B is body, health, and wellness. I think I mentioned in posts today that health is a big deal for me at the moment because of the situation where we are. Winter is another thing where we need to be particularly careful of your health because you're stuck inside, it's dark and it's dingy. We don't go out as much as we probably should do. So I'm very conscious that winter is the time where I need to look after my health. So B. E is environment. So there are many different environments. One we probably focus on a little bit more is basically our home, the physical environment. So, where do I want to be in my home? Are there things I want to do about the house? Are there things I need to look around in terms of, for instance, here? I mean, one of the things I wanted to focus on for the autumn was to build up some tech for my my home studio, which I will show you again, maybe a little bit later on what I've got set up and how I use it. And so that's basically some of the intentions I had for the autumn. They're all set up ready for winter, so that's another thing. And maybe in the winter I'll have some other things I need to do from the home. Again, we're stuck inside a little bit more, so maybe there are things that I might need to set up in place in my home environment so that I can be healthy and well sort of inside. So let's tie those two together. Okay, this is a bit of a weird one, but basically it's those sort of things. If you wanted to play a musical instrument, this is where it would sit. If you wanted to write a book, or if you wanted to visit a particular place, if you wanted to do something that isn't to do with health, isn't to do with the environment, it's just to do with something that makes you feel as if you have an accomplishment, if you do want to travel the world a little bit. So I put these kind of things in there. So for instance, I've always wanted to, my wife will love me for saying this, I've seen those little handpan things, I've wanted to play one of those, so I'm going to be looking to see whether there are any ways I can learn to play that. So a musical instrument is part of what I would be trying to look into in the winter. Again, so one of the things, you're indoors a little bit, so maybe something you can play around with inside. So accomplishments. C, cash, business, or career. Basically, it's those sort of things that brings in the money, or whatever you want to call it, or euros. I don't remember if they do euros, I've got it wrong. Basically, the sort of things that you would do to get an income or secure your wealth. Again, it's another one of the things that, as with many acronyms and metaphors, you might need to squeeze things around a little bit, but basically cash and business, this is where I think about things like what I want to do in the business. Are there any things I want to save for? What I want to do with if you're in a career, and things around your career you want to achieve, etc. Do you want to save for a particular, you might want to save for something you want to do for your travel, or you might want to save for something you might want to do in your home and environment. You might want to put some money away for a gym, so that you can be healthy and wealthy and that kind of stuff. So those are the things. They're all tied together. O, others. So this is those immediate others. Like it's partner, family, close friends. So what are your intentions for your family and friends and partner? Do you want to spend more time, quality time with your partners and your family? Would you like to go regularly and catch up with your friends? Would you like to reach out to friends you haven't seen for a while? What are the intentions essentially for those people who are close to you? Those individuals and groups that keep you grounded, that keep you keep you safe and warm and healthy, and what are you going to do about them? So, and then the final one is network. Again, there is a saying that your network is your net worth. Essentially, this is those wider communities and connections that you might want to get involved with. There's a community. There's the things like your local community, your wider community in terms of your social community, the sort of people who you wouldn't necessarily classify as friends and family, but who you may have an affinity for in terms of some kind of level of joint connection in some kind of way. So what are you going to do to beef up your network? how are you going to go out there and reach out to people, shore up the connections you have already, make better connections to those that you have. You've made loose connections, so you want to make them better. You're going to spend a bit more time trying to feel out those people who are, for instance, let's do this. You wanted to learn a musical instrument. Maybe in your network you want to spend some quality time looking to those people who also play that musical instrument. You want to connect with them. You want to spend some quality time watching them and seeing them. You want to see if there's a local group around that instrument that you might want to talk about, etc. So are there any connections with there? So essentially that's me quickly. Like I said, it's a quick one today. It's just me. And for those people who are watching now, so hi, I see there's someone watching. Hi to you. For those people who are coming a little bit later and watch this on the replay, I'd love to hear what do you think about the little beacon metaphor. Is it something you would find useful? Do you have any other way of categorizing the sort of intentions and goals and achievements you want to have during a particular time period? How do you specify your time periods? Do you do something like me where I do a quarter or a season and then a year and then a 5-year longer time vision? Or do you just have like a longer term vision and on a day by day less structured more fluid planning, you would work towards it or move towards it or grow towards it in that sort of way. So that's just me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope these sort of ideas of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 way I break down my I suppose you call it strategic to tactical visioning and planning, through to the categorizing I have of the different types of achievements and intentions I would like to make for the particular period that I'm looking. So please let me know if you found this useful, and I would really love to know how you plan your year and your quarters and your seasons. I'd also like to know whether you plan for 2022 or the whatever year's coming up, or whether you plan for that January 1st or with your resolutions, or whether you spend a bit of time beforehand planning or you just wing it a little bit. I'd love to say there is, I have talked earlier in the halftime huddles about the challenges with planning and more situational awareness that comes from the fact that as soon as you make a plan, what do they say? If you want to hear God laugh, make a plan. As soon as you hit a plan, which is part and parcel of what these Wednesday halftime huddles are, is when you make a plan for the week and halfway through, all kinds of things happened. The same sort of goes for any kind of a longer term planning. You make a plan or a vision or an intention for a year or 5 years or a quarter. As soon as you start, all kinds of things either change. We're in a very situation at the moment where we know that things can change on a whim. Whim is the wrong word. They can change really quickly. The environment we're in is very changeable at the moment. So it's useful to have a plan, but you've got to remember that where planning is something that is not just a one-off, which is sort of why I have this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 process. I make your longer term plans, I revisit them regularly, and my 2 weeks or 1 day's ones are essentially my situational awareness. How's the fortnight going? Do I need to make any changes on a day by day basis? And like I said, I may talk about that later on. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're all getting ready for a bit of a break, a bit of a time to spend some time with friends and family and loved ones. And I am keeping everything crossed that it all works out well. I hope you're all well and healthy. And in this time of change and uncertainty, you can find some level of stability, and you can find some level of movement forward, and I hope you can keep yourself and your family safe and well during this period. So in the meantime, I will say goodbye and see you next time. And next time we'll do something a little bit more fun, I think. We'll see. So I'd love to see you next week. And hopefully you'll have a great week. Hopefully the second half is going to be your best half, and I would love for you to have a great week, and I will see you next time. Okay, the technology is all well and good. I have been speaking with the wrong microphone. I went and spent all this time and energy getting a nice clean microphone, and I haven't used it. Hopefully, next time we speak, it won't be so disjointed. And I hope you managed to hear. I will listen back and. If I may have to do it again, we'll see what happens. If I hope it's clear. I hope you can read along. Please let me know how you find these halftime huddles. I'm always looking for people to come and talk to. So if you're happy to come along and have a chat, then please do. If you know someone you'd like me to bring on and talk to, then please let me know. I'd love to stalk someone and find whether they can come on live for to help you through the halftime huddle. I want to make these halftime huddles as useful to you and everyone as possible, and I would love to see you next time. So sorry about the sound. The audio was a bit weird. I hope you all heard okay. I hope you managed to follow along, and I will again speak to you next time. Please let me know how you got on, and I will see you next time.